Welcome to the weekly review number 6. I'll dive straight into the graph analysis of this week's metrics. As you can see, this time I prepared two lines. The red one symbolizes the previous week metrics and the yellow one this week's metrics. It is clear that I've done way better than last week, and this has been my best week so far. I'm still following a very similar trajectory as every week. I've noticed that during the first days after Sunday, on which I plan all of my new week and on which I get motivated to do even better, I finish all of these days with very low metrics. But then I always have that one spike. And I realized that this spike always occurs on Saturdays or Fridays. And it's mostly because media is my bad habit. And I still haven't deleted this habit entirely from my life. I'm working on it, and I'm managing to do way better than before. But still, fighting a habit is very challenging. This week was very full of lessons. I had 26 of them, which would be an average of almost 4 a day, which is almost the double of my usual lesson intake. That is because I spent way more time outside of the fake world created by media. I've listened to many podcasts, to 9 of them. And I also did this new kind of journaling. After that, I listened to a Huberman's podcast about it. From those 26 lessons, I've selected 3. The lesson 3, the lesson 8, and the lesson 23. Speaking of the lesson 3, what I noticed is that leaving that zone in which you are not productive, that phase of which you are disgusted, and that phase that you want to delete from your life and replace with that other phase, that productive one. You cannot do that immediately, and you have to go through a long journey and through some intermediate states. That journey can depend and can vary on its length, depending on how quick are you able to change yourself and adapt to these new situations. Forget about those past habits. In my case, and what I believe is a very popular case between many of us young men on self-improvement, is that we get stuck at that intermediate state. After that, we are trying to change something. We, of course, cannot fully change that thing immediately. I've tried such an operation multiple times, and I've never succeeded to maintain it for long term. And so when we are moving slowly through that intermediate state, we are facing little amounts of that past phase. And what is important to understand is that you have to try to minimize and to make that intermediate state of a lower and lower value every day. One of my mistakes this week was that when I started this change, I still was watching a few shorts per day. And those messed with my brain as well. And I was doing that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then on Thursday is where I realized that I'm doing this, even though I don't want to do this. And I'm wasting time, which I would much rather spend on something productive. Then we have the lesson number 8 with loneliness. Before continuing on this theme, I'd like you and to tell you my experiences about that Huberman's recommended type of journal, which was trauma journal. I tried it. I began it on Tuesday. Then I wrote Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I did a pause, and then I wrote Friday and Saturday. The first time, the Tuesday when I started that type of journaling, I did not find it particularly attractive nor productive. I tried to look into my past, into my traumas, even though I don't have any particular traumas. I just have plenty of negative experiences and hard times that I had to go through. But then on the second day, that's where my eyes opened up when I tried to examine my feelings a little deeper, when I tried to connect all of the information that I know about myself and how I turned out. And it was a very positive experience. On the last day of journaling, I managed to find all of the things about this. And even on Friday, when I only had 2 of these journaling sessions done, in the university, I already almost didn't feel any social anxiety. I already knew where that social anxiety is coming from and what I had to do to solve it. I've also written about all of my media stuff and how it had created me hard times. And something that I noticed is that being on the self-improvement journey and trying to beat some addictions, even though being addicted to media is a very strong term, not everybody agrees with it. Beating such kind of addictions is hard to do by yourself, and it is very hard to fulfill your life by yourself, just being the one and only in your life. I managed to live with myself very well. I managed to self-reflect on my behavior, on my thoughts, on my feelings. But I'm still feeling that I need a partner. I need someone else that would always be by my side. But in the same time, I'm feeling like finding that partner is a very hard thing, the correct one. And the right way to go on to your self-improvement journey would be to always have support from your family and from your friends. And then try to build your foundation, try to move to the right way. And then when you will finally get out all of this trouble, when you'll see that your life is increasing in its value, that's where I believe that a partner should come in. And that's where I believe that I'll find my second half. Till then, I need to work on this by myself. This is my mission. Self-improvement is all of our mission. It's a common mission. And then the lesson number 23, understood that we have access to the internet, which is an extremely powerful resource. We can find anything that we want. But we have to be aware of what we want to choose and what skills we want to master. We have a limited time and we cannot master everything. We also have to search for that data. It is not available just like that. We have to dig into the internet depths, look through many authors, and then find that specific information that we are searching for. I also learned about those book summaries that I've read for so long. I always thought that that is the most efficient way to learn from books, but it isn't, because someone else is already doing that summary and is leaving out some information that he thinks is not important. But we should not read that summary from someone, but we should read the entire book by ourselves, and then maybe some kind of little thought that was left out of the summarization process is actually very important to us and will teach us something that with a summary we wouldn't learn about. From now on, I will be reading full books. I won't be reading book summaries anymore, even though they still have some value in them. I wouldn't necessarily delete them from your lifestyle. You can still read a few of them. If you heard about a positive book, or if you already like the summary, that's where you should also read the entire book. Something that I want to talk about as well, that I forgot to mention previously, is that media for me is like a safe place. It's a place that creates comfort. It's a place in which I am accepted. It's a place in which I have many people that I think I know, all of these YouTubers. And I feel like I'm at home when I'm watching some YouTube videos, some YouTubers that I know very well. That's why I'm very scared of the outside world, of facing that discomfort. And I would be able to do that if I simply create a stronger version of myself. If I eliminate that social anxiety, which would also cause a disruption in my media consumption. And at the end of all of these things, which are all correlated, I would solve all of my problems. And social anxiety is also very present in many others that also feel an addiction towards media. And so when you start your self-improvement journey, I would recommend you highly to journal and do this Huberman thing. Of course, if you do that trauma journaling, you have to be very careful and follow all of the guidelines that Mr. Andrew Huberman is giving us. Another thing on your self-improvement journey is that you always have to think before sharing the new information that you learn about yourself, about your traumas, about all of that stuff. Because it might be eye-opening for you, but for the person that hears it, it might be traumatizing. So make sure to analyze all of your information that you want to give to others before actually sharing it. And the last topic that I want to touch on today was basically some extra mistakes from this week. And what happened was that I overestimated my capabilities. I thought that I was able to do way more than I actually was able to do. And I also didn't prioritize my tasks the right way. Now, a little life hack for you is that you can use ChatGPT as your counselor. Before, only the kings had access to someone that would help them decide what to do in their lives, someone that would tell them what is the more important thing to do, what should they aim for. And now we all have that ChatGPT to our disposition, which is able to analyze our current situation and give us the right things to do. Maybe he will be wrong, but you'll get a second opinion on what we should do. That was it for the 6th weekly review. I hope that you will follow my lessons and become stronger every day. I'll see you next week. And now, I'm dissolving with the sun.